exclamation London plane tree, PLNEXC563. Yeah, this is a London plane tree is what it's commonly called. I got it here in a bucket. It's time to plant it. Now I got to figure out where to plant this little thing. They grow to be pretty big and they're just wonderful trees. I don't understand why there aren't more of them around. But as I'm thinking about planting it, it's relevant this week that I'm looking at trees in the Bible. So if you missed Monday, I talked about the tree of knowledge of good and evil that's found in the book of Genesis and the creation story. And then yesterday, I talked about the tree of life, which is found in bookends. It's both in Genesis and in Revelation. Talked about the implications of that. But today I've got a weird one for you. Deuteronomy 16:21. It's found in the Old Testament, the law of Moses, the Torah. It says, "You shall not plant any tree as an Asherah beside the altar of the Lord your God." Asherah was a Canaanite goddess of fertility. When we read it in English, we would vocalize it differently than the Hebrew. We would call it Asherah, but Asherah is the way you would read the Hebrew word name. And as the goddess of fertility, she was often associated with trees and even poles. And what the people would do is set up places to worship her, recognizing she's not just fertility, but happiness and joy and all those things that come with, ideally, having a baby, or having crops, or having offspring with your livestock. You know, all of that is part of the marvelous joys of life. And so they would celebrate and worship Asherah by putting trees in certain places and poles, oftentimes on the top of a high hill, because that way they figure they're closer to the heaven and she's more likely to hear them. God said, don't do that. And I don't know anybody who's planting trees to Asherah today, but I do know a lot of people that seek their joy and their happiness from sources other than the Lord God. Now, if God gives you joy and happiness, that's real joy and happiness. But if you live your life seeking your joy, your happiness, your meaning, fertility, all of these things, if you spend your life seeking those apart from God, you're basically giving your life up to idols. And that's not good for you, and it's not good for your mind, and it's not good for your heart, and it's not good for your relationships, and it's not good for your business. It's not good for anything. We are to seek the Lord our God with all of our heart, with all of our soul, and with all of our strength. And by the way, that Shema that I gave you, the Deuteronomy passage, Hear, O Israel, Shema, Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one God. This is who we worship, the one God, not the tree of Asherah or anybody else. So I'm going to go plant this tree, but I'm going to plant it where it's aesthetically pleasing. And I'm going to do so thanking God for the beauty of His creation and letting it reflect the beauty of God and His opportunities, not some fake idol of fertility and happiness. That is your video thought for the day. Come back tomorrow. I got another tree for you.